For today's video, we'll be taking a look at a mainstream motherboard from ASUS that sports the brand new Intel Z890 chipset, the ASUS TUF Gaming Z890-PRO WIFI. Sporting support for Intel's latest Arrow Lake S Core Ultra 200 series of desktop processors, we'll be taking a closer look at the specs of this board to see if it's any good. Let's get started. For those of you who are unaware, Intel's only just lifted the veil on its Arrow Lake S Core Ultra 200 series of processors and the accompanying Z890 chipset just today on 10th October 2024. Now, to get in on the announcement excitement, we'll be taking a look at the ASUS TUF Gaming Z890-PRO WIFI that, as its name implies, sports the Z890 chipset and sits within the TUF Gaming series of mainstream motherboard offerings, where it places below the range-topping ROG Maximus series and the performance-oriented ROG Strix series, and it's also positioned above the Prime series of entry-level motherboard offerings by ASUS. As a Z890 motherboard that is targeted at white-coloured PC builds, the Z890-PRO WIFI comes in a box that sports a white and light grey colourway, with the TUF Gaming motif featured prominently on the front. Moving over to the rear of the box, we get the usual summary of specs for this board. We'll take a closer look at these specs later on in this video. On a side note, if you're new to the ALKtech channel, do consider subscribing so as to keep up to date with the latest product releases in the PC hardware world. With that, let's have a look at the contents of the box. We see that the Z890-PRO WIFI comes with a white-coloured Wi-Fi antenna right here. Okay, let's set aside the board for the moment to see what other accessories ASUS has included with the board. First up, we get a quick start guide right here. And this is accompanied by an ASUS web storage promotional offer leaflet. We do also get a sheet of TUF Gaming stickers. And this is accompanied by two SATA 3 cables. 2 packs of M.2 drive rubber pads that are used to add additional height clearance for your M.2 drives. We do also get a M.2 Q-Slide attachment. I'll cover M.2 Q-Slide in more detail later on in this video. We do also get a spare M.2 drive standoff and screw pack, as well as a plastic accessory that end users can choose to install on the board for aesthetic purposes. Onto the board itself, we see that ASUS has gone for a predominantly silver and white aesthetic with some black components for contrast. If my memory hasn't failed me, I think this might be the first time I've seen a white-themed motherboard from the TUF Gaming series. As can be seen, the board comes with an integrated I/O shield design and has a white-coloured PCB with large silver heatsinks all around. The board seems to be more silver than white, if anything. Over on the rear of the board, we see that the PCB is coloured in grey, and we get a TUF Gaming motif on the bottom half of the board. The Z890-PRO WIFI comes with no shortage of TUF Gaming marketing text on it. I mean, just look at the gamer-oriented words found on the VRM heatsink. Talking about the VRM heatsink, for some reason, ASUS has included a plastic slide-on accessory to spruce up the board's appearance, should you choose to install it. That aside, RGB junkies will be pleased to know that the board comes with built-in RGB LEDs that can be found near the top, along the long edge of the board. The VRM heatsinks for this board are sizable, and ASUS has included 16 +1+2+1 power stages, rated for up to 80 amps each. In terms of heatsink coverage, the Z890 chipset is cooled by a passive heatsink that sits beneath the heatsink of the second M.2 slot that this board comes with. While still on the topic of heatsink coverage, as can be seen, the Z890-PRO WIFI comes with full heatsink coverage for all of its 4 M.2 slots. For memory support, the TUF Gaming Z890-PRO Wi-Fi comes with 4 DDR5 slots that, as of the time of publishing this video, comes with support for up to 192GB of RAM and the DDR5 8600 standard when overclocked, with plastic slots of a single tabbed design that ASUS calls codenamed. Naturally, the board also supports Intel's XMP technology, which are basically built-in overclocking profiles for DDR5 memory. It's also great to note that the board supports the latest DIMM format on the block, clocked unbuffered DIMMs, which come with a clock driver on the memory module so as to improve signal stability, thereby paving the way for even higher operating frequencies. In terms of front panel USB connectivity, we get a USB 20Gbps Type-C front panel header next to the RAM slots, and beneath it, a USB 5Gbps front panel header that provides support for up to 2 USB 5Gbps Type-A ports. While still on the topic of USB connectivity, the bottom edge of the board houses 2 USB 2.0 front panel headers, with each header providing support for 2 USB 2.0 Type-A ports. Some interesting features to highlight. Back at the top of the board, we get a set of QLEDs that can help with troubleshooting PC startup issues, and over on the bottom edge of the board, we get a Thunderbolt header that is to be used with an optional ASUS Thunderbolt add-on card, a clear CMOS header, as well as a thermal sensor header that allows you to connect an optional thermistor cable so as to monitor the temperature of devices within your PC case. In terms of expansion slots, this board comes with a PCIe 5.0x16 slot that sports the ASUS Safe Slot feature that reinforces the slot for use with heavy graphics cards. The said slot also has the new Q-Release Slim feature that makes removing a graphics card an even simpler affair. There is no need to release a latch or even push down on a button anymore. All you have to do is pull the card out at a certain angle towards the latch mechanism and it will come free. We do also get 2 PCIe 4.0x1 slots, a PCIe 4.0x4 slot, as well as a full-length PCIe 4.0x16 slot that operates at X4 mode. In the storage department, ASUS has included 4 SATA 3 ports, with 2 ports in a right-angled configuration so as to aid with cable management, and another 2 ports along the bottom edge of the board. For M.2 slots, it comes with a single PCIe 5.0x4 M.2 slot and 3 PCIe 4.0x4 M.2 slots. Do note that the first 3 slots support NVMe SSDs only, while the last slot supports both NVMe and SATA M.2 drives. That said, the PCIe 5.0x4 M.2 slot comes with a pretty fancy heatsink and features the new Q-release mechanism where pushing down on this latch here will release the heatsink. The slot also features an improved Q latch that makes installing and removing a M.2 drive a breeze, like so. Another new quality of life feature that the Gen 5 M.2 slot has is Q-Slide, which is a mechanism that slides along a track and snaps into place to securely hold an M.2 device of varying lengths. Pretty nifty, I must say. For audio, ASUS has included a higher-end Realtek ALC1220p audio codec with premium audio capacitors. Wired internet connectivity is courtesy of Intel's i226V chip that provides support for 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, while Wi-Fi support is courtesy of a MediaTek MT7925B22M Wi-Fi 7 part that supports the 160 MHz channel and also serves up Bluetooth 5.4 support. In the cooling and RGB departments, the board comes with 7 fan headers, which are located in these regions of the board. Also included are 3 Gen 2 addressable RGB headers located in these areas. Moving over to the rear I/O, the TUF Gaming Z890-PRO Wi-Fi goes for an integrated I/O shield design in white. The board comes with a DisplayPort 1.4 connector that supports display output of up to 4K resolution at 60Hz, a HDMI 2.1 port that supports display output of up to 4K resolution at 60Hz, a BIOS flashback button that allows end users to update the board's BIOS without needing to install a CPU, RAM or graphics card. 6 USB 10Gbps Type A ports, with this port here supporting the BIOS flashback feature. 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB Type-C ports that support DisplayPort and Thunderbolt video output. On the Thunderbolt display mode, the board supports up to the 8K resolution at 60Hz for a single display via 1 Thunderbolt 4 port or 2 displays via 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports at a maximum resolution of 4K at 60Hz. Moving on, we do also get a 2.5 Gigabit Ethernet port, Wi-Fi antenna connectors with the new Q antenna connectors, as well as your usual audio jack connectors. To sum up, the ASUS TUF Gaming Z890-PRO Wi-Fi seems to be a pretty decent mainstream Intel Z890 motherboard. The board will probably work well for folks out there who are intending to build a white-themed Intel Core Ultra 200 series PC at the higher end, where it comes with PCIe 5.0 support for both a graphics card and an M.2 drive, 2.5 Gigabit Ethernet with built-in Wi-Fi 7, dual Thunderbolt 4 ports, and a plethora of USB Type-C and Type-A connectivity options, along with lots of new quality of life features such as Q-Release Slim, Q-Slide, and so on. That said, I do think it's a bit of a missed opportunity that ASUS did not include white-coloured onboard connectors and hardware with this board, and instead went with black-coloured DDR5 slots and the like. This probably would have made the board more attractive to folks out there who really value a full white aesthetic for their PC build. In addition, it's worth noting that the Wi-Fi 7 module on this motherboard doesn't support the 320 MHz channel for faster wireless connectivity. With that, thank you so much for watching, hit the like button and get subscribed if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around the next time.